It's another snow day here in Seattle. Apparently this is the worst winter storm that we've had in the last decade or more, because we've been here since '09 and this is as bad as it's been. They even shut down work today. So I was at home, but because of the weather, I haven't really been able to go outside and go in the shop. So I've been working here in the basement. And I realized that while I did the bathroom build and the first finish of the basement, I've never actually done kind of an overall tour of the workspace here. And we're not going to do that today because I'm not ready. It's still not completely done. So I'll do the full tour when I do the basement tour part 2. But one of the things that I can show you is my workbench down here, and at least this side of the work area. So let me take you on a little trip. So one nice thing is great lighting. So I've got 4,000 lumen LED lights that are on the pull chain, and then I've also got 5 can lights down just in my work area, and so that means that I get really good light down here. I didn't do it for filming, I did it for working, but it apparently works really good for filming too. It's a lot better than the garage right now, but the garage will be better too. I'm actually putting, like, I think in 690 square feet, 80,000 lumens of light out there. So one of the things that as you go through your journey as a YouTuber, you learn that sound and light are super important. So I'm adding more light. So this is my workbench, and I know people say all the time that, oh, I haven't cleaned a thing, I'm so embarrassed. Guys, I haven't cleaned a thing. The desktop is all dusty. I have a notebook out, I got pens out, I've got a couple of projects ongoing there. As you can see from, don't pay attention to that ground wire. Don't pay attention to that. I know I'm gonna get comments on it. I'm hooking it back up. It's just for the cable. So anyway, I digress. So as you can see, the bookshelves are not exactly clean and done. Real quick, this window here, when you can open it up and there's actually a fan there, so that it helps evacuate the air when I've got the printers running. So I did in a previous video the camera, this bushing that goes into my monitor housing. So here it is, up and running. Additionally, here is the microphone that I was talking about. Now, I've got, let me see there, I've got my faucet audio capture there, kind of, I know it looks precarious. I gotta figure out something else, like maybe a shelf over here. I'm not sure, but it works there, so it just does. So let's see what else. I mentioned that I was doing a bushing for one of these bad boys. So this is nice in that if you're doing like really minute stuff, if I'm soldering or something like that, having this lamp and this magnification and the light actually works really nicely. So right now, this is that's what I use for a cutting table. My both 3D printers will be over here eventually, but right now I just use it as a cutting table when I do some leather work, or if I cut some paper. And then this is a map case or blueprint case that came out of one of the second use places here in Seattle. Right now it has some prints I've done, special papers, end papers from Japan, any number of papers, that sort of thing. And there's also an entire lifetime's collection of maps. I'm obsessed with maps. I have been since I was a little kid, so I've got probably 30 years worth of maps in there, just in that one drawer. Workshops are ever changing, and this is actually some tool organization that I'm building for a tool board similar to the one I did in the garage workshop that'll hold bits and hammers and screwdrivers and wrenches and stuff. Nothing super serious, you know. I don't plan on pulling an engine or anything, but just for the work that I do here in the basement. The Workbench base that I'm using, I actually got for free. My company was moving from, my old company was moving from one site to another about a mile away, but they had all these old benches that they were getting rid of and some cabinets and that sort of thing. I ended up picking up like 3 steel cabinets, some of the vertical file drawers, and I picked up this this base as well, and it just kind of lingered for a while until I decided what to do with it. It's in great shape. It really is. Solid steel, will hold a car up. So nothing I can do, nothing I can pound on is ever going to hurt the thing. That's for sure. So this cabinet is just what it looks like. It is for files and such. And one of the, actually it's a fireproof cabinet that I paid $5 for at Goodwill. I was shocked when I saw it and absolutely snapped it up. This one doesn't have files in it. This actually has like my reloading press and stuff, and then just press supplies and dies and things like that. There's no powder or anything here. All the powder is locked up somewhere else in a safe all on its own. So anyway, nothing, no chance in it going boom. So let's talk about the bench itself real quick. I actually made this, I think, way back in 2013. I think I started drawing the ideas for that bench like back in 2011 though. And it is a countertop from IKEA that I doubled up, and it was originally supposed to be a reloading bench, but things morphed and things changed, and I found that I needed it for 20 other things. So this is solid beech. It is stained, and I've got polyurethane, like 3 or 4 coats on top of it. I did route in a 3/4 channel for this T-track, and then I made it, I actually dropped it down just a little bit so that I could put a ruler, scale, whatever you want to call it, on top of it, so that it made it completely flush. So that way, as I was typing or doing something, it didn't poke down into it. So this is one of the reasons for the track. If I'm going to put my lead sled up here to put a scope back on, like after I screw it up, like I did a few weeks ago. If I put a vise on here, if I'm putting some sort of flat material on there to do some wood burning with the fan running, or if I'm gonna like put my stitching pony up here, because the thing about this, I actually have a chair that raises, but it's a really nice standing desk. I sit all day long in my day job, so it's nice to have a standing desk for the couple hours that I work from home, and then on the weekend. But yeah, so like if I'm gonna do something, if I'm gonna stitch something, it's right there. It's nice and stable. So this is one of the reasons why I have this, in addition to holding things like this way. I was trying to put an attachment onto a pellet gun the other day and leaned it up against the edge of the bench, and it fell over and it cracked the scope. So what I find is that I needed to have something to hold anything like bow paddles, that sort of thing, if I need to lean something long up against the bench. And I went in SolidWorks. I've got a version of SolidWorks here on this machine. I went in SolidWorks, designed it, printed it out on my printer, and then picked these up at Rockler. Actually, it's the same place I got the T-track. And it has worked great thus far. So you can actually see here another project. I'm actually putting a chassis system on a Savage 308. But one of the things underneath a workbench or a desk that a lot of people forget is light. I mean, you always drop something back here. You're always trying to find a cable. Now, I've got my computer mounted underneath the desk here. and I wanted to make sure that when I was like running a cable or that sort of thing, I had access to it and I could see it, and I wasn't trying to poke around in the dark. So I ended up putting a fluorescent light in here that you can turn on and off. Now you do have to reach back there and turn it on and off, but yeah, well, first world problems. So one of the issues with having my computer mounted under is access to the SD card and USB and headphone jack. Now I do have an extra USB drive there, but for the rest of it I'd have to crawl under the desk, and having the light or not, I don't really want to do that. So what I did was ordered some cables from my friend Uncle Jeff on Amazon, and so then designed and printed these bad boys out so that that I would have full access. So I'll show you that process. No, I didn't do these parts in SolidWorks or CATIA. I did them in Creo because I'm having to learn it for my new position. But as you can see, I mean, first print, everything fit great first time. Stuff there. I mean, everything from USB to some SD cards. Actually made these SD card holders. The last time I posted something using a type tray for a purpose other than wood or lead type, I got serious haterade. Okay, I get it. It's a dwindling resource. I use them for lots of things. I have lots of type trays. Anyway. Now I do have a letterpress. And I do use letterpress drawers that are full of type and everything else, but it's nice to have these for things like my SD card storage, USB storage, miscellaneous parts, guitar picks, because I have instrument issues. There's also, you know, letter stamps for leatherwork, and then rivets and all sorts of things also for some leather work. I've got my strop here. It's actually leather and it's linen, so I do a little bit of touch-up work. So whenever I do my planes, whenever I sharpen the planes, I don't sharpen them out in the shop. I usually sharpen them here on the workbench, and then we'll use the strop either with a knife or the plane blades to get those nice and sharp. Yeah, here's one of the things I'm actually working on now. One of the local tattoo artists in town wanted a grip for his tattoo machine, and so I drew some up and ended up prototyping that one. I'm not happy with it. I'm actually going to take a little more off here and a little more off there, but there's a drawing and measurements for that. I'm working on a 300 blackout build, and again some of the leather work. If you have any questions at all about the bench, on how I built it or anything like that, just let me know in the comments and I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. Also, as of the filming of this, I have 420 subscribers on YouTube. I'm actually going to put together a 1,000 subscriber prize, probably out of the forge, not out of the printer. I actually want to make it special because I've been trying to get to 1,000 for more than a little while. But there'll be more details on that as I go forward. So, thanks.